That we on. I ain't never did this one before. Can you catch me up? Is this like live or is this like what's the vibe with this?
Live on YouTube. It's the Black Club. I had actually started this like a year ago, and I've been kind of finding things out and switching things up as I've been going. But I'm still learning. Still learning as I'm going. But it's pretty good, not bad. I like doing this. I like talking to different people, meeting different people. Finding out different things that you don't know. So.
Show background outside of this.
Uh, I started because okay, so I don't know if y'all get taught. That was something I was gonna ask you too later on in the questions. But I started out looking at our history because over here we're taught that slavery starts everything. You know what I'm saying? Everything starts at 16, 19. And so I wanted to know who we were before slavery. And that's what made me start. Yeah, that's what made me start researching and looking into different stuff. And then I was like, man, I just want to share it. So that was the initial start of how I got going with all of this.
I'm definitely down to have a little discussion about that because I think that's a very important part of just doing any of this stuff. Like I've been realizing a lot lately. I grew up. My mama made me watch Roots as a kid, and I know that like a lot of people probably seen it, but a lot of people probably haven't seen it. And I remember that Alex Haley's story with his family just resonated a lot with me because you never think about the story of your own family. You know what I'm saying? And I think that a lot lately, I've just been kind of peeping, when it come to like anything you do in life, bro, you just an iteration of another nigga down your timeline. You somebody else in your family who's done this already. And you supposed to know the history so you can know how to move accordingly.
Like Black Americans, like we really don't even know our real history. We don't know nothing. I don't know if it's like that for y'all. First of all, you from the UK. Nigel Sandridge, let me introduce you the right way. You know what I'm saying? This is the Black Club. Y'all hit the like button, subscribe, turn on the notifications. We got Nigel Sandridge here with us tonight. He's from the UK. He's gonna give us a little background on how things are over there versus over here. Have you ever been to America? So I ask you that.
Go ahead and break it on down for you. Everybody call me Sand. Sand like the beach. I ain't hard to reach. Just roll off the tongue just like that, baby. I'm from Chicago. But I live in yeah, bro. So I live in I don't know, I might sound British to you.
Move out there.
10 years. Like I used to be in the military back in the day and I went back to America for like a year. I was not fucking with the vibes. It was wild. It was a wild time. So I came back here and I went to film school and I went to business school and I just been out here grinding. I just created my own world for me, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying?
I noticed on your Instagram you got like a lot of you into art, right? Yeah, yeah. You got a lot of different stuff, like different videos, different artwork. You use AI a lot. That's not AI.
Because I believe that, as an artist, you're supposed to like figure out all these crafts and stuff. But no, this is all hand stuff. My kids be in the we be in the gym with it. They gonna get to it, man. They gonna be mad some days. I'll be mad some days, but like
What was childhood like for you? Like growing up, you grew up in Chicago. Okay.
yeah. So I got two brothers, two sisters. I'm like number 4 or 5. I never really I wouldn't say I had a bad childhood. I had a single mom. She worked real hard. She did what she could to put us into situations. And I think everybody like had a thing. They found that there was a star and it kind of shined in. I think I was a lot late to the party though, but like I think everybody kind of. I could tell my sisters were smart. I could tell my brothers could draw. I could tell my brother was a chef. You could just see them things about each other. But I ain't had nothing. I ain't have a thing that was innately me, so I just kind of felt like I was like in a floating area, not really knowing what to do with my life. So to be honest with you, like a lot of my childhood was probably either spent doing bad shit or being invisible. I was either you ain't see me or if you see me, it wasn't for a good reason. Yeah, so I was the most half-assed sports star in the history of the world, man. I think I didn't have like half. I think about it now with the mindset I got now, like I could have been a star. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm dedicated to basketball. I'm dedicated to skateboard. I'm dedicated to whatever. I could have been good. But I would go, I would like right. I remember trying out for track, being the fastest kid in track. One day we was running, just we was running one day doing like practice, and I just ran home. I don't know what the fuck it was. I just took off, never stopped till I got to the crib and just never went back. And I was like, I don't know what this is, but I used to do so much when it came to like activities. Like I boxed, I did this, I did that, and right when I got to that point where I was supposed to like, turn that page and really like take a craft in, I think I always like probably got too scared too early. I probably like gave myself a reason not to, really get into it too deeply. Yeah. What about you? Catch me at what's kid be no.
I didn't know what I was doing. And so it started taking off. I started getting like people coming on, guests, interviews, all kind of stuff, brand deals. And it was like it caught me off guard. It was kind of overwhelming. And so I slowed it down on purpose. And I kind of hate that I did that now. You know what I'm saying? But at that time, I was thinking that it's moving too fast and I wasn't really ready for it yet. It was different, man. It was like it was taking off and it started going so quick. I guess I could say I didn't really know how to handle it. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was. I know what you mean when you say that. It happened so quick too. And when they say overnight, yeah,
You be like, "What? I ain't even ready for this." And then you try to slow down, and then when you slow down, you be like, "I shouldn't have slowed down. I should have just." But you gotta see it to understand it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get to that point of feeling like you're successful in a craft where you get that nervousness to decide to slow it down. But you gotta be smart enough to just say that you're just taking a break to see like the peripheral, the trajectory, where you going, where you head. You know what I'm saying? You want to see what that path is in front of you because you don't want to be so caught in that goal that you miss it, the mark, and you don't learn the things you need to. So sometimes you gotta slow it down a little bit, but it's just always about knowing that I was always gonna get to where I'm going. Sometimes you guys just take a little rest in the town for the night.
clears your mind and stuff like that. And then you get to take a look at everything for what it really is and take it all in, gather your thoughts, get yourself together, and then you know how to take action from that point. Yeah. Did you go to college?
Got the craziest like setup for college. Like I went to the military, right? And I went to the military because I was not trying to go to school. I was like, no, I'm not trying. I was like, what I'm saying, I already didn't gave up on that shit. I knew I was gonna go to college and give up. Like I just knew I would have got there. She never showed up to a class. And I was like, I don't even want to have that type of money on me. Like, I don't like want nobody, nothing. Like, so luckily enough, I was just like, yeah, I ain't even gonna do that. So I just decided to like go to the military, right? And I ended up joining the Air Force, and I was there for like 6.5 years. And while I was, hey,
Yeah, I appreciate your service.
deeper thing, I was just in there trying to figure shit out, and it was cool because it taught me a lot of discipline. Um, it taught me what I didn't like because I felt like I seen a lot of people doing jobs they hated, and I was just like, nah, I'm not into that. But I got a good position right now. So it was just like while I was in that position, I just started doing a couple courses here and there, just knocking the thing out here, there, not trying to take it too deeply because I'm like, I'm gonna just end up like, I don't know what I'm gonna do because I ain't doing this no. When I get out, I'm out. But I can't get out and not have nothing to me. You know what I mean? So I just started like, I'm so glad I was smart enough to figure that shit out. But like, I just started, doing little courses here and there. I ended up getting like the equivalent of associates, right? So I'm just like, okay, cool, bet I'm gonna get out, go to school, this, that, yada yada. I'm in America. Vibes is weird, you know what I'm saying? Just like, as the climate is right now, not just there but in the world. And
UK as it is over here?
I think that we create it when we have a thing that we're doing, we kind of make other people do it. Like I don't know if it's a subconscious thing or if it's a strategic thing or what, but like as soon as we get weird with anything, whether it be politics or race or this or that, everybody else does. And like you don't realize that being in America because we so like us centric, you know what I'm saying? That a lot of times we fighting two things. We either fight each other or we fight a common cause enemy. And it's like it's the same thing with the word out here. So as soon as we don't like a thing, they don't like a thing. As soon as you know what I'm saying? So like yeah, like the vibe was just weird. But I just remembered I was in England for like 3 years of my stint in the military. And I was just like, it was kind of cool that I felt mad exotic, this, that, yada, yada. You know what I'm saying? So I had a homeboy who was a musician out here. And I was like, I already realized I wanted to work with like musicians, right? So I had a homeboy who was musician out here. And he was like, hey, yo, bro, if you like come out here, you could like sleep on my couch type shit. I'm like, bet. You know what I'm saying? You were a pizza boy in America, pizza boy in fucking England. Whatever. I'm a pizza boy in England. Let's do it. Right. So I end up signing up for like I think like a bachelor's degree or something like that. But they was like, oh, because you got like experience in this in like film from being in the military and stuff like that. We can give you a master's. I'm like, boy, I ain't even got a regular degree. I'm in here bet. So because if I fail, I fail. If I don't, I don't. So this was the first like real thing in life where like I told you I like gave up on mad stuff, right? This was that first like real thing in life that I got that opportunity and I had the foresight now to be like, this is a scary move and it could work, could not work. But if it works, if I just really try to go for it, it might be something. And yeah, I just ended up like doing a film degree. I was probably the worst kid in class, but I had the most charisma. Goddamn me, you know. Yeah, I said, but hated that. Realized I really just want to do this film shit, and I'm just kind of started my own company and just been working it. So my company is No Margins Media. It's a visual arts company, and we work with like artists and creatives and stuff like that. So like when I was in film school, I was like going to these festivals, right? And it's like like in the music industry, like when you get to be in like a festival or like a back room or something like that, where you get to be around the artists and like the managers and all that shit, and really get to be in them rooms. It's like that for film. So I'm going to these festivals and I'm meeting people and they just was giving me the biggest lame energy in the world. Like it would just be like somebody you be talking to somebody and they'd be sitting in your face like, yeah, man, I'm working on this project for 7 years. And if nobody sees it at this festival, I'm gonna like give up on life. And I'm just like, bro, that shit, bro. Like, they was doing that, bro. Yeah, they was like, and I just I had to remember I left that mindset behind. So I'm looking at that like I can't even be like that, right? So like I'm talking to them and like, so what you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm a director, but I do photography and I shoot music videos, but I make documentaries and this and that and yada yada. And they used to look at me like, yeah, you can't do all that. Yeah, you're not supposed to do all that. And I just had to be like, why the fuck not? Why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, why I can't do all these things that I'm very capable of doing that I taught myself to do. So like I called my company No Margins because I didn't want to be marginalized. I didn't want to be put no box on like what I could create. I want to be able to work with rock stars, painters, rappers, dancers, whatever you do. I want to be able to expose the world to you the way you're supposed to be seen. Yeah.
Okay, so in the UK, is it like racism the same as in America?
Real, but I feel like here it's a lot more classism. So it's you can get robbed by the most multicultural group of little boys ever. It's hilarious, bro. Like you be looking like you and you, like, like this is what Martin Dream of, bro. Like just I mean, in the smaller towns, typically it'd be like a lot more like backing, like just it'd be like just white or just black here, or you know what I'm saying. Don't be too many people mixed up. But like I'm in Manchester, and like Manchester is a multicultural city, so like most groups of friends is a lot of different cultures. So like yeah, you. fuck around and get just slimed out by by a Pakistani kid, you know what I'm saying, a Caribbean kid, a white kid up the street from Surrey, and like, you know what I'm saying, a Nigerian, and they do it together, bro. Teamwork. So I've been over here like almost 10 years. I've been here like 9 years and 8 months. Yeah.
Slavery over there? Like, what's the teachings about slavery? Is it the same?
They never talk about it. Like, in America, we don't really talk about it outside of Black History Month or that one awkward section of history class, you know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, they don't really talk about it. And then also you gotta think like their form of slavery didn't exist the same way our form of slavery did. So they've had slavery for a way we've had slavery for a way shorter time. Or I would say we had it more recent than they did. That's the best way to phrase it. You know what I'm saying? So it's way far back. Like they even got a story in the history here, right? Uh, a guy came over one time and he bought one of his slaves from the Caribbean on English land. Any man's a free man. So you bring your slave over here, he instantly free. He's like, you trying to take him back home? He like, nah, just nah. I'm free here. What you mean? So like, they had to make it a whole law that they could only have like they slavery on like the Caribbean islands and stuff like that. And it's like they kept it over there for a minute. So like they didn't really have it in house effect, like not as deeply as we did. But I'm no historian, so from what I've seen and how I perceive it here, outside of like the Windrush era, which was like they had this they did this thing called the Windrush era where they encouraged a lot of like Caribbean families to come over like during like I think it was between like the 60s and the 80s. So they had a big influx of, like Caribbean culture into like England and stuff like that. Like they've always been a lot more like I think intentionally encompassing for the people. They may not like it all the way through and through, just like we don't like it all the way through and through. But it's interesting to see the dynamics of the culture from the outside. Like it's like looking at how we be tripping about shit in America here. Yeah, but
About the politics and stuff that's going on over here, like everything with Trump and all of that.
one of the biggest eye openers I peeped about being like overseas is like you'll go everywhere and everybody know everything about America. We don't know shit about them, and it makes you feel so stupid. Yeah, one time I was in Greece, right, and I went to this like I walked into this random party. I was just on some stupid, just tourist shit, just trying to see what the vibes was. So I walked into this party. I ended up making mad friends in there, right? And these people just start telling me about our presidents and our secretaries of this and that and yada yada and what they do. And I'm like, I don't even know who the president of this country is. I'm in it right now. I'm here right now. I don't even know who your president is. But y'all could tell me everything about like my like politics. And I felt so stupid. And it made me realize that like everybody else has to pay a lot more attention because like I was saying, they get to run off or whatever our vibe is. So when we go and we bomb a thing, they either got to decide to stand with us or against us, which you can't because we got too many like attachments to each other. We getting money through we getting money through so much stuff together that it's just like it would be in the way.
What do people like say about America outside of America? Damn.
Oh, like Americans, we hate America, but we love America. Like you just like we can't. Yeah, like like everybody across America hate America. The thing is, if somebody tried to come and take over America, we can't go. We just don't lose war. We just don't do it. We have to squabble. You know what I'm saying? But like everybody don't like us, and it's so crazy because sometimes you can tell it's like forced and it's fake. Because it's the vibe. It's cool to hate America, but then also sometimes like you could tell like that there's like a deep rooted history, and then sometimes you talk to people from other places and you hear about shit that you didn't even realize we did.
Yeah.
They ain't tell
Yeah.
us because they ain't sound successful on TV. So they be like, they ain't tell us. But these people be in their
Hmm.
country like, nah, bro, y'all not cool. We don't fuck with y'all.
Mm, mm, mm. Um, the the population, from what I read, in UK, the black population is almost like 2.5 million in UK. and then in America it's like around 48 million, something like that, right? How can we break that barrier and like start helping each other, start uniting, especially like with us, Africa, just the blacks around the world? What do you think we can do to start unity, just a whole united community, actually become a community? That's the thing.
Music, baby. So right, life's algorithms. And when you really think about it, right, we be out here hating each other off the littlest shit. And I think that it's not it's a very unfortunate thing that we were taught to be so like it's like how you hate your siblings. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy when you see people hate their siblings more than they hate like somebody out in the real world. But a lot of like families exist like that, and it's like the black family as a whole exists like that. I feel like you know we find these reasons to be separate from each other, and we make it make sense in our heads, and it don't really make no fucking sense. So I think like for me, I would say it's through the music. The one thing I've been paying attention to is that I've been like listening to a lot of music lately, right? And I just been like getting into this mindset of like understanding art in the world on a deeper level. And it's like the timeline of all music comes from certain people who come from certain people who come from certain people. You know what I'm saying? You know, you get a Little Richard and a Chuck Berry that gets you a James Brown, that gets you a Michael Jackson, that gets you a Prince. We could run this all the way up to like Future or Kanye West right now if we wanted to, And it's like while I've been going down this timeline and just discovering the importance of music, I've been just discovering the importance of like the sound, the culture, the way that it vibrates with your body and your soul, and like how different cultures have different sounds that innately feel so responsive to them. You know what I'm saying? Right now, there's this era in England going on where like the underground rapper sounds like an American, but they got an African vibe to it, whether it be in the sequencing or how they put their snares, or it be in the way that they say their words or the cultural references that they say. That we doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? But we don't ever cross those barriers and like mesh those things because we think that we innately got to beat the other one out. We treat this like it's fucking like the Olympics, and we just got to be America being good at basketball. Like it's a mandatory thing when it's not. It's like we should be exchanging these cultures. This is the one middle point that we all know that just across the history of time we've always created culture with. You know what I'm saying? So like it's a culture war out here, and the biggest thing that I think is important is just that even in even in like relatively older times in like Africa and stuff, there'll be multiple tribes with their own vibes and their own things going on. But the thing was that you
Yeah,
always respected that they were adding a different flair to the culture. There
yeah.
could be 9
I
tribes in
think
the
that's
area.
when I think that's when everything changed. Like as far as for us, when they changed our music, changed our movies, our TVs, the frequencies of everything that we see, hear, everything we do, that changed a lot as far as how we act, the behavior and stuff like that. That's why you see us so scattered the way that we are. In the
Yeah.
Bible, they do say it changed the language and scattered the people.
And the older you get, the more you realize that language is important. And you know what
Man,
I'm saying?
it's true.
It's hard because it's like you want to be a real nigga. You want to say this. You want to do this. You want to. You know what I'm saying? Keep the flow because that's always what it's been. But it's like we do have to have that mature state of mind where if you understand it, you know better, you do better. You know what I'm saying? And the language is very important because it puts a it's a spell. It puts a whole manifestation on your mindset. The crash out music makes you a crash out. You know what I'm saying? The the druggy music make you want to be like the music that make you it's low vibrational music, but the thing is it should be fun. It's so easy to make. It's so you know what I'm saying? But it's like we have to find that middle point where we can still tell these stories and still be who we are authentically without like, you know what I'm saying, letting it overtake our souls. Cause I think right now it's got a big hold on everybody's souls where spiritually, like people just don't know what the fuck they want to be. And it's messed up because it's like, religious or not, you should just be spiritually aware about where you are in this world and how you vibrating and where you want to go and where you want this thing to take you. And a lot of people can't see it because they clouded right now.
Start with conversation, regardless of where we are. But what do you think that we could do to like start putting ourselves in positions to be more successful as black men. Mhm.
I know that don't nobody want to listen to nobody, and that's the hard thing is because as black men, we got to learn to go straight to the top because you never really see those notch points. You don't see the journey that it takes to become a man, and that's another thing that we lost out on because, like in Africa, there's a journey to being a man. It's not like what I'm saying. Even though they're not still doing like Igbo tribe stuff, there's a journey that you go on to being a man. We just wake up the man in the house one day. One day you just the man of the house. And you don't really know what it entails. You just gotta take on the role. So you making the shit up as you go. And if it work one time, you'll do it forever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Got your inspiration from. And a lot of times that leaves us directionless, in my opinion. That's why you have so many men that seem like they lost today because they had no direction growing up. A lot of this, I could get into a lot behind it, the agenda and all of that. I'm pretty sure you sound like you might know what I'm talking about. So yeah, it
Live in a world where there's so much shit going on, y'all. And you can't tell what's true, what's not, what's real, what's not, what's up, what's down no more. But the thing about it is that you gotta hone in on yourself, your family, the people around you, and what makes you great. And you gotta try to be a blessing to the world and the people around what you got going on. So the world will bless you back tenfold, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like it's hard to get that mindset when there's so many distractions. It's so much shit set up to make you fail. It's literally we walking around on a minefield, and you're supposed to just live a regular life still. You know it's a mine somewhere, and it's just gonna make you just messed up. It's gonna throw you back five years, but you still gotta live a regular life. So now you got to try to excel more, and you either gonna excel or fail, and that's why people live in this like constant set of chaos because like I said, when I was that kid doing the track, bro, I was scared to fail. I didn't want to fail and then spend my whole life knowing I failed track. And now I'm going around just in this constant ball of confusion. And I think a lot of men going through that. Like, a lot of us had a point where you felt like you was something and then you hit a low and then it's that hard bounce back because while you in that low, the world when they hit you with a mine, forgot it was mines here. You forgot it
man.
was even mines
Yeah, because you've been walking good, for a minute. You've been walking straight. You thinking you doing everything the right way, and next thing you know, that's it.
Yeah, it ain't no other culture where you can go to the corner store as a black man, end up in jail somehow. Don't even know. You said, don't even, and you can't even explain that you didn't do nothing wrong. Like you can't. Man, how? 15 minutes out the house. I ain't even cut the water off. I thought it was. Yeah, early in the morning, upset, flustered.
Because I hear about that a lot.
I think that it's evolutionarily different because they come from different like branch on the tree of hip hop than we do. So like, even when you think about stuff like heavy metal came from fucking England and we think about it as an American thing. Yeah, Black Sabbath, Motorhead, both British bands, and they're inspired by the Beatles, but they don't even sound like the Beatles. They came from the Beatles to heavy metal, which is such a crazy like dichotomy. You know what I'm saying? So like working like what I'm saying working funk down to P funk, down to sampled beats, down to hip hop, down to rap, right? We get to rap, and then they split off because then we kept like we get around the hip hop area, they split off and we go to rap. But then they go to like their own style of rap. They got their own thing. They own clashes and they own flow state here on how they listen to music. So they got a whole different cadence. We split off in these two different directions. We started doing, the 2000s. We get the Jay-Z's, we get the, you know what I'm saying, we get the Soldier Boys, all the way, we get the SoundCloud era, we get all that. And they doing their best renditions of that over here, but they kind of was just staying true to like the UK sound. Whereas then we get around that SoundCloud era, we kind of connected again. So we connected again in that spot because SoundCloud was where you could just try things out online. So you would hear a lot of new sounds. And a kid here could listen to music in America and get inspired by it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if it was the same where you from, but like in Chicago, we used to just get music about the East. We didn't really get South music. We didn't really get Cali music. We got like New York music. So like we didn't. Yeah,
South, and then we got a little bit if they was like big from the West Coast, Snoop, Tupac, E40. We heard artists like that, but we didn't really get a lot of like Jay Z. We Nobody was really bumping Jay Z and Nas and Jada. Those type of artists. You mostly heard Jeezy and Ti, and you heard a lot of Tupac, but yeah, Boosie.
we wouldn't get no zeros. We wouldn't get, you know what I'm saying? We wouldn't get I-20s. We wouldn't get Lil Kikis. We wouldn't get stuff like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? We might get a Master P, but that Master P was like Gucci Mane. But like, like, but like, but like, so like, it was the same. Yeah, it was.
A lot of like Nelly, Twister, Kanye. So y'all would hear those type of artists before they really blew up. To kind of like how we were with UGK and artists like that.
To Chicago that was supposed to make it, or they didn't make it, and we wouldn't get nothing else. And then we'd get like New York. So like that was the same thing with like England. Like they wasn't really getting our music. They had grime. You know what I'm saying? So they was over here doing grime. And then like every now and then they would try to make a song for America and it might hit or it might not hit. But most of the time it didn't hit. So like we was never if we was barely here in America, we was never gonna hear that stuff. Yeah. So now when we get that SoundCloud era, that's when we get that connectivity. And like now we starting to get this mesh across the board of different sounds. Like drill music in America only exists because it's beats from here. It's grind beats. Yeah. Yeah. They had the sound before us. Pop Smoke, I remember hearing Pop Smoke, and I got a homeboy who's an A&R here. And I was like, I remember as soon as I heard that song, I texted him and I was like, this is an American rapping on a British beat. I think this is gonna go out of here. And then next thing you know, drill was just it. So it's like, now we at this point where like everybody's starting to mesh sounds again. And I think that's the dope thing. I think, just having that communication across the board, like that is a intricate part of like what can help build our communities back together. Is it's dope to see them go over there and be treated like us and then us come across and get the same love now type of thing. But I don't think it necessarily existed before. It's too much posturing and trying to be the toughest city. And, somebody come here, you got to show them why we so tough because they don't think we tough and then vice versa. Okay. Okay. So my top five rappers of all time. I got to put Ye on there. I know you're not supposed to like Ye, but I'm from Chicago.
Hey,
Don't
hey, hey, look,
argue with your
look.
mama.
Matter of fact, before we get into that, I want to hear your thoughts on Ye and everything that he been doing lately. He been
Okay.
on one.
Yeah, but it's the wildest thing. He's the craziest looking crash out ever. I don't condone none of the stuff he got going on, but I respect the ability to be free. Hear me out now. Being somewhere else where you see people have a lot more liberty in life, I get the offense. Like I get the offense. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he crashing out Karen style, but as black people, we not allowed to be Karens. We're not allowed to just, they can blindly go into a racist tangent in a grocery store, call you everything up and down every aisle, throw a thing at you, and call the cops on you, get you arrested. Why we can't start creating that? Why so well, I like the fear you put on everybody. I think that's a hilarious thing. I don't condone nothing he got going on, but I respect the artistry. I respect the artistry. I think a lot of that blind confidence that I had to learn to get, I got from somebody like a Ye who you got to put the work in, you know what I'm saying, to get to where you want to go. I ain't gonna crash out like that. I think he tweaking, but at the same time, like yeah, he just be but he it's part of his whole program, and it's part of how he see the world. It's part of how he knows it's gonna get people to pay attention to him. Sometimes you gotta just pay attention to how people want you to pay attention to them. And I realize sometimes, like, it's the same way when you going down the street and there's a homeless dude calling you everything in the world, and you gotta just keep like you don't see him, you gotta do the same with these celebrities. Once they start getting weird, it's like you want me to look too much, bro. Nah, I'm out of here. I'm out of here.
But some of it he wasn't lying. You know what I'm
I respect the ability to stand in your laurels. Cause sometimes I might say something and I ain't wrong. I just said it wrong. And maybe I need to learn how to execute that shit. We'll figure that out on the back burner. But I ain't wrong. So I ain't gonna sit here and act like I'm wrong for you. And then when you come around, don't scratch your neck. Just know that I was right. And some things I think he just sat there and was like, told y'all. Anyways, and another thing. Check these shoes out, and then I got another thing for y'all. Like, so he he doing a thing, and I think that like we get put in the monolith of like how our creators are supposed to be, how our celebrities are supposed to be, and this and that. And I think that it's a modern day Jim Crow. And I'm so serious. I think that it's a modern day Jim Crow because the way that we get nailed to a fucking cross anytime we do anything remotely that anybody in the history of the world has done is crazy. I'm watching documentaries about country music, right? Tell me why they was the biggest gangsters in the world. You be in an argument with a dude, he the leader of the band, he'll shoot you in the leg. And y'all just gonna keep that shit going. You'll be like, oh, you crying because I shot you in the leg. Bro, they gonna shoot a whole club up. Go back to country music, beat their wife, marry a youngin, doing whatever, and then they just go back, and they go back to he was the best musician ever, and it's just like we don't get that grace. Like so, I like the autonomy of giving people grace because there's a lot of gray area in the world. Sometimes your brain, where you at in that moment, ain't your brain in the future, or what I'm saying, it'd be a thing that make you be how you be. So it's like I don't like to put nobody in a box where they can't redeem themselves, and I think that through Yay, we get a new definition on how you allow that be in front of people. Because sometimes you just not your best in front of people and y'all gotta suck it up, bro. I'm going through it. I can't even mask it. And as a black man, not being able to mask that shit hurt when you got something going on and you can't even tell nobody you got something going on. So he just doing it in front of us. He letting us know he hurt in front of us in real time. You gotta have grace with people who be letting you know that they hurt. You know what I'm saying? They may not say it out loud, but you can see it. You should be able to feel it yourself because you've been that before. So it's like I just don't look at the negative part of it. When you going crazy, bro, I'm not when you telling me you gonna do this and that to yada yada and the man in them, I'm gonna go stand over here until you ready to have the healing part. Are you ready to have that nurturing part that we need to start doing with each other? You know what I'm saying? But I ain't gonna sit here and condone none of that shit. I can't help your crash out because then it make your belief system real. I got Future in there. I love Future. I think Future is a transitionary artist. Future is a secretly slept on like genius. Yeah. So right, I think people think I ain't supposed to like Future 'cause I look all earthy and shit, bro. I love Future. I think Future is a genius. I think Future is a maestro. I think that he is like a Beethoven in this generation. And the reason I say that is because I think he's very good with sequencing. Music is all based off of sequencing. when you look at like old music, like symphonies and shit, it's just a long album. A symphony is a 7 minute, a 17-minute song, 23-minute song. It's just an album. That's like 4 tracks back to back. That's just going hard. I think the future is like very eloquent about how he positions himself. He does what Pusha T and the Clips do for drugs about women. And I think that I think that it's just like I think that like to be able to just keep Shakespeareanly rolling the same lines but in different ways and making words and phrases that stand out in time. That's what Shakespeare was doing. Shakespeare was making up words and he was going so hard with his plays that we got the part of your title from this show came from Shakespeare making the word the because he was just in his bag sauce, so they had to like be like, oh, fuck with that word. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like I just think that like, yeah, we need a future in the culture. I'm an Andre Three Stacks guy next, you know what I'm saying? It's just because I like free spirit, I like the free spirit aspect of it. He feels like a samurai who knew that he could take over the world but decided not to. He just, you know what I'm saying? He knew he could take down the empire, but he just decided to go be free, roam the world. I love the fact you could look up, he'll be playing the jazz flute somewhere in Cambodia. And then, like, I resonate with that because I think that like, my whole thing in life is just freedom. Like, I think that, like, it's a sad thing as a black man to realize that, like, freedom don't come to you like it come to everybody else. And it hurt my fucking soul sometimes because I just be hanging out with people and I'd be like, I'll be in a position in life and I'd be like, y'all not understanding that this is new. Like this is like new to my whole culture. Like to be able to be this to that. Yeah. Yeah, that's like three right. I listen to like a lot of R&B to be honest with you. And like I'd probably have to go with somebody like I'm not like a Jay-Z or Tupac or a Biggie guy because they I grew up with that. So since I grew up with it, it was more of like a God status for you and less of a like they didn't have nothing they had to climb in front of me. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I love Jeezy. I'll probably put Jeezy on there. Then. I'm a big Jeezy fan. Inspiration for inspired me. I knew I had to
Oh
be
man.
some.
Oh man. I was a big Jeezy fan growing up. All his albums. What was the Thug Motivation? Air Forces. Man, I'm telling you, Jeezy, lot lot of people don't get Jeezy the respect that he deserved though. Jeezy had some hits.
2010 until probably like 2, 3 years ago, where a rapper would just age out. We let them touch the sands of time and just turn to old men in front of us instead of just respecting the fact that anybody could still do this at a high level. We started thinking Jay Z was the only guy who can come out of his little place, his little mountain of omnipotence and rap and then go back away. And it kind of killed the vibes for all these other people because they were still going ham. Jesus was still dropping mixtapes with drama and people wasn't checking him because he ain't had nothing on the radio and or he ain't have a TikTok song, you know what I'm saying? But now we're getting back into this phase, I think a like deeper listening audience where the kids are like they're watching streams and they listening to full albums again and they, what I'm saying, really get into that process. I think we will start to get like a nice little like resurgence of these guys coming back. That's why it's dope to see the Clips come back. That's why it's dope to see Alchemist do what Alchemist is doing. That's why it's dope to see Benny and the Butcher and Conway and them just, what I'm saying, setting. She's still doing it, huh? Hmm.
What you think about it?
I just had an off day on some cool shit. I went to the museum to get inspired. I put the little headphones on, heard that birds don't sing, but while I'm looking at a just a 18th century painting, you couldn't change my mind. Best album ever. You know what I'm saying? When you just put your mind like I because like I like to do this thing, right? I go to the museum and just listen to some thug down shit. I don't care. It could be Playboy Cardi, it could be it could be the Clips, it could be Tyler, it could be whatever. I'm just in there just listening to like some just crazy shit and just putting it to the art. You know what I'm saying? I hear a word like that's that, that's this, that's that. And like I was in that type of mindset when I heard that album, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like most of the songs was hits. I love POV, you know what I'm saying? Um, the little Mike Tyson blow to the face. I like that little joint. Birds Don't Sing, of course. Yeah, they got this one song for real. I'm 32.
Okay, okay. Yeah, see, I kind of came out with them, so I liked it. You know, in my opinion, I liked the album. From what I heard, I haven't heard the whole thing. I've only heard like 3 or 4 songs, but from what I heard, it's the clips. You know what I'm saying? So I liked it. Um, who your top 5 UK rappers right now? Okay.
Named Prito. Prito, 10 out of 10 star. I think he gonna be the one that blow out the city next. Um, you can find him on Instagram at Prido, Prido. Let me see if that's his whole little joint. Yeah, so it's Northside Prido. Yeah, he's really solid. Um, yeah, they got this guy right now, named Lynn that's coming up in the city. Lynn is really good. Um, who else am I listening to right now? There's Prido, there's Lynn. I'm working with this guy named Alien Vert. He makes like trip hop. He's really hard. Him and Donnie Storma Collective. We got Mids for real. We got Deezy. We got most of the music that I've been listening to with the artists has just been people I've been working with, to be honest with you. Yeah, cause like they got like a it's so dope here because they got like a they own like emerging sound right now, and I feel like I'm in the middle of something. Like I'm just in the middle of a wave happening in real time. So it's cool because the sound I'm starting to hear everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just hearing it in England no more. I'm starting to hear it when I go to other places and stuff. And I'm just like, I think that's like right now it's just a really important part in the history. Skepta, of course. You gotta put Skepta in the mix. If you you gotta put gigs in the mix. Gigs got the national anthem in this country, damn man.
Got some movement going right now. That's what I read about him. What about gigs? What about gigs?
Like, you know how I don't even know how to I would say like they got like Jay-Z and Wayne energy out here. Where like, Wayne could go anywhere and just be respected, like, but also just be in the chill vibe and then or Snoop energy, I would say. How Snoop could just be everywhere doing anything. Skepta could just be anywhere doing anything. Skepta will be on a commercial, but then he could have a movie going on, but then he could just drop a mixtape, then he could be DJing somewhere, but then he could also be in a rap bat. Skepta be having so much he really the mayor of the whole country. Like gigs too, like they got a different vibe here, like how big they are. But you would never think that. I remember when what was it Skepta was on that Drake album, the Scorpions joint. I think Skepta and Gigs might have been on that album. And I remember like being on Twitter at the time and everybody hated it so much and was just so anti hearing British people on that. And now we got Central C in
Yeah.
America. We was
Yeah.
they didn't get like I was saying, they didn't understand what grime was. They didn't understand what none of that was. Yeah. Had to come around on it.
Like inspiration. Is that how important is that to you?
And I think that I should be able to work with a robot, the moon if I want to, or fucking tarantula if I want to. I should be able to work with anything. Like, the thing is always understanding that I'm innately a black man and my inspiration comes from my black history and my mama and the people I grew up around and where I came from. You know what I'm saying? So just because I've seen a lot of shit don't mean it ain't me. It don't mean it take precedent over none of the stuff I came up on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I grew up in a P Funk house, you know what I'm saying, in a gospel house, in a R&B house. I grew up with like all this like different stuff around me that I think inspire a lot of who I am. So I try to make sure I carry everything like that over into my work. Cause I think innately I think everybody is an amalgamation of their people. So you the same as your brothers and your sisters. So that's why it'd be hard to see eye to eye sometimes because it's just you making that same decision against you. You know what I'm saying? It's the same with my own people, like my moms and them. So it's like I think I get a lot of inspiration from my upbringing, and I like to like bring that to my work. I feel like I'm a psychedelic looking nigga. Look at this right here. This is crazy. You know who was psychedelic? My mama and them in the 80s, 70s, going crazy. And I feel like I somehow inherited that energy. So it's like if I got that on me, bro, I'm gonna give it to the world because a lot of my inspiration come from the stuff I was seeing growing up. I bought a Funkadelic album like 2 3 weeks ago, right? I spent my whole life looking for this album because I remember being a little kid and I seen that album cover, and I was like, that it was something about how spacey and trippy and different it was that made me just want to get like I wanted to do something, and I thought about it my whole life, and that's always been in the back of my head. And I got that bitch in the crib right now, and it's like that was my mama's stuff. And I was growing up around that, listening to that, getting involved in that, and that's all the stuff that inspired what I am right now. Yeah. So
Look at that. Take over the world, Pinky.
exhibition in September. I'm shooting TEDx like the day before. You know what I'm saying? I'm working on some clothes. I'm working with some artists. I got a music video coming out. I got two projects with two artists coming out. I stay to it. You know what I'm saying? Because once I found out I was fluid, I just had to go through it. It's an ebbs and flow. You know what I'm saying? You might get knocked down, but you got to just roll and then turn that into a cartwheel to get back up with a little pizzazz. Because they can't keep me out of here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to just keep making that next step. Like I want to really be a face that people see at some point. Because even though it's not about like I don't I don't want to be perceived, bro. But I'm doing some fly shit. So I want some youngin one day to look at somebody like me and decide, cause fuck them, I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm gonna figure out who I want to be. I'm gonna go on my own journey and discover who I am. You know what I'm saying? So I want to make sure I'm also putting myself in that mindset by having that discipline and putting that hard work in. What am I doing next? Another fucking level. I'm going there. Ugh. What they doing? What they doing in Michigan? Yeah, you see that little Michigan dance? Yeah, I've been listening to the Michigan music trying to understand it. I'm going up. So the next 5 years, man, I really want to I got a good wave going right now. I'm doing a lot of work with a lot of beautiful people. I'm working with a lot of brands. I've been doing a lot of just charity work and volunteer work. I never thought I was gonna be one of them niggas. I always thought I was just gonna get my money and get out the way. But it's like now I realize I gotta give more to get more in this life. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta make the world richer, and it's gonna make you very rich. And you know what I'm saying? So right now it's just about like really giving back, making that next generation feel like they can do something. I really feel like, in the next 5 years, I'm gonna be a transitionary like artist. I'm gonna be something that people look at. I want to be looked at like a Basquiat or like a, you know what I'm saying, a Prince or or Andre or I just want to be or Tyler like, but I'm doing film, so people don't think they're supposed to look at you like that. So it's like now I'm gonna create a pocket where they gotta respect you like that because this is some rock star shit I'm doing, and I'm really trying to make it so other people can do that. Because like I said, there's a James Brown, and there's a Michael Jackson, and there's a Rick James, and there's a Prince, and they all come off that ilk. There's gonna be some people that come off of ilk like me. So in the next 5 years, I want to be able to put them in the right situations. I want to know that I created a grounded version of myself that could stay out the way but still be that effective thing.
That's what's up. Where can we follow you? Tell us how to follow you.
Yes, sir. So you can find me at Sensei SENSEI_sand on Instagram, or you can check out my media company, No Margins Media, NOMARGINS_MEDIA on Instagram or YouTube or Twitter or TikTok or any of these little amalgamations of things that you go for your little viewership pleasures. But god damn it, Vino, this has been great. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. You know what I'm saying? It got me here. Up at it. Say less, man. I think in the spinoff corner.
It's really nice. That's what's up, man. I appreciate everything you're doing for the culture. And shoot, I can't wait to talk to you again, man. We gotta do this again. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. That's what's up. All right, man. Well, y'all like, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and I'll be back Monday with another episode. Uh Nigel, appreciate you being on the show.
For letting me come through and teach, god damn it.
All right.